proceed.
Good evening, everybody. How are you? So glad to finally get with all these guys and look at these wonderful faces. Ladies and gentlemen, Saberlight Knights presents Fight Night number 34. How is everybody doing today?
Awesome.
Good.
Exhausted, but good.
Good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it. We are supposed to have some really fun fights, and I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be very exciting. Some people that I don't think that Mark or Kai, that either one of you guys have seen yet, maybe some of them. So this is going to be good. And
Bring it on.
Yeah, there's going to be some really good fights, and you guys even get to see me getting my butt beat all over the courts, and it's going to be great. Yep. Oh, Sprague versus Ryan. Always fun. Christie's calling this one on the far side.
Did a good job roughing it.
He did a really good job roughing. See this?
So when you guys fight each other, is it the battle of the blade control?
Sprague and I, pretty
Yeah.
much. He has gotten much more dancier. He was a very hard hitter before.
Yeah.
You'll see some interesting exchanges in this where there's 4-5.
He's an athletic dude, especially a big dude, but he's very athletic.
He doesn't look quite as tall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He also got just a long martial arts background. So he's a
Right.
And he's a big beefy guy who loves to, especially when he first started, loved to swing for the fences. And now that he's learned how to control, well, there you go.
Yeah, there's nothing scarier than a big dude with power who also has technique.
And is fast too. He gets really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good because he's not really using a lot of his power to like bully you
Right.
around. Like his form is very good.
Yeah. Using his stance, using his position.
Yep. There's a little bit of rules definition clarification going on here, but very specifically, you'll see when Dancing Sprague comes out, it is scary and also fun to watch.
Man, just look at that reach though. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
I'd love just for one day to know what that's like.
No, all the short guys in the chat here. Oof.
Yeah, I blocked 2 of them.
And the third one he gets it. Yeah.
No, but see, like just Ryan, just your poise alone, and just waiting for that opportunity to just strike it.
Staying calm,
You know.
and being precise.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like with Ryan, if you didn't know Ryan, you would think he was like an arrogant fighter, you know what I mean? Just because the way he walks out there is like,
well, yeah, like his
it looks
His
like he's just
dancey.
waiting for you to like bait. Yeah.
yeah.
It's if I was fighting Ryan for the first time without knowing him, I'd probably I'd be on tilt already. Like you'd be in my head for sure.
Well, just his posture alone, it's like
That's what I'm saying.
this is not someone that you want to mess with. Like,
Yeah, it's almost taunting you. Like, go ahead,
right.
try whatever you want.
And then he takes off his helmet and you see this giant smile. He's like,
I know.
Yeah.
Glasses.
I mean, look at Sprague just coming and just Ryan's just okay, what you got?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And what's the size difference between you guys, Ryan? I know I've asked you before, but
It's probably about 6-7 inches.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah,
That's a nice point.
When it
Sprague is
comes
like
to-
6 foot, 6'2", maybe.
yeah, that's a big difference.
Oof. Look at that.
He moves like a guy who's 5'9", though.
Yeah.
Buck 80.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. he was getting back to his swingy ways. You could hear the blade back and forth and during some of those changes. You could hear that blade.
You know, sometimes when you get tired, you just fall back on stuff. It doesn't have to be good stuff all the time. Sometimes you just fall back on stuff.
Mhm.
And, that might be what he's experiencing there. He's got a good gas tank, though. I can't imagine he's super tired.
I saw Ryan come down just before. Right.
Like for a while
7.
before this match.
Mhm. He's
Oh,
Ooh, what was that?
That was just a little touch. Didn't actually count as a hit. Just a little gentle. I was proud of it, but it didn't count for a point.
8.
There you
that
go.
one did.
Yeah.
You got him on the inside of the arm. All right, and fight.
Yeah. Again, pinpoint accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
I
him.
know, Mark, you're sitting here.
Oh man.
Look at that. Look at the move.
Into those fences.
What? I heard my name. I didn't
I
hear what
said
you
you're
said.
hating how I'm holding that saber right now.
That is
8.
86. Fight.
Calibrate.
Yeah, keep fighting. Yeah, calibrate definitely. Don't leave it flying up.
Yeah, ironically, he's actually doing a lot better once he relies less on his power and more on his technique.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which I noticed that you guys use that term calibrate just to kind of get yourself back into that zone of, it's not about power, it's not about overpowering your opponent,
Oh, okay.
Out
I
finessing.
thought Ryan got that.
Yep.
Go. 8.
Yeah. Force versus finesse, even though, yes, Star Wars. But
You know, sometimes that power works for you in a different way too, like just as like a root system
Yes.
where your technique is still doing all the work, but you're just grounded better than your opponent because of your weight and your gravity control, you know.
Oh, fun.
So
I love that last maneuver.
that's what I'm saying. Like a big person who's already got power, maybe some speed, and then you add good technique. Like it's
Oh, yeah.
just
unstoppable.
like
Unstoppable.
it's unstoppable. Yeah, I mean, like
Well, that last exchange, again, the blade work in that exchange of that last bit was just so pretty to watch.
Yeah.
So
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
And this one is Christy versus Sprague, and this is fun too because she's
Very fun.
starting to move so much more, and she's getting her feet under her. She's getting her seat.
Yeah.
Very Form 1.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Christy fight.
Now, but,
Come on,
Very solid base.
look at that. She's snaking it.
See, this is interesting because you saw the exchange between Ryan and Mike, and it's just like you could tell two very skilled opponents, and you can see Mike just kind of really like taking it easy, almost like teaching as she's in combat. Which honestly, like, you don't see that amount of respect a lot.
What
Yeah.
I really do, because I was watching something else earlier. We really do sort of. We try to take care of our sparring partners.
Yes.
Yes.
We're looking at each other as, okay, both, yes, I'm trying to do something, but am I being a good partner for them? Am I allowing them to learn too? What are the
Yes.
things that they need to work on that I can feed them, as well as what are the things that I need to just, okay, I need to go ahead and make sure that am I defending properly? Am I doing all the things? Where are my principles and my basics versus are they making sure that am I making sure that they're getting what they can out of it?
Yeah. Because a lot of times, you can just easily just beat up an opponent, but that doesn't do any good. It certainly doesn't do any good, most times for their mindset. It doesn't do any good for their learning and their technique.
Right.
Good.
Yep.
See some
What I'm
poking.
looking at her figure is she's actually moving back one into that corner right there. Exactly what I was trying to do.
I noticed Mike is starting to use his sword a little more, or his saber a little bit more like a Polish saber, kind of using the top third of it for backhanded cuts underneath of the hand or over top. and kind of using a little bit of half circles to kind of get most of his work done.
Well, it's really, you know, controlling Christie's blade and pushing it away from him
Yeah.
to go in for the attack, and you know it doesn't require a lot of power. Like you can see that.
Yeah, he's working on. See, that's where again he's working on his precision.
Yeah,
Right.
Because
exactly.
as she's learning, she's needing to work hers. So he's giving her precision to show her what she needs to do to both counter and work with and against. And so look at
See, even that, like, it doesn't have to be much. It's just, you know, it's just a little poke, let you know, and this is where you drop your guard. But
Fighting against somebody who you're generally consider, like you can always have on days and off days, but fighting somebody who you're generally considered to be a much higher level than, it's a great opportunity for that higher level person to start practicing their Form 3 a little bit, you know, or their Shien concepts of very fluid countering or using the opponent's force, because then you can teach them, okay, you came in way too hard on that strike because I was able to just very lightly parry it, or maybe you didn't come in hard enough on that strike and I was able to just very lightly parry it. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of little tiny moments.
Or if you're coming in so strong, I just angle off. Yeah.
Right. But if you're not working, like you said, taking care of the other person, nobody's going to be able to stop defending themselves long enough to see those moments of learning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just too much of a fight at that point. Like, you're in a fight now. Like, who wants to be in a fight?
Not for this. Yeah. Poke. Get him.
Ooh.
That's why it's called sparring and not fighting. You know what I mean?
Right. And look at how she's controlling the distance. She's not giving up a whole lot of ground.
That's what I was saying. Like her footwork is really great. And,
staying in the pocket,
controlling where the fight goes.
Whack him in the ass. You had him right there.
And you can tell Mike's.
And I, after this, we're all over saying, hey, when small steps back and forth, she doesn't later fight.
Mike is trying to bully her around a little bit. She's not really letting him. It's good to see that.
Yep, exactly.
That was a great exchange.
That was fun.
Now, this next fight's going to be interesting. So Brooks came with me. He and I have been friends since high school, but he's about 6'2", a larger guy, and he's been training more in the English fencing. So
classical fencing. Yeah.
That kind of thing. Whereas Chico is young. I'm not sure how young he is. 20s, early 20s.
Yeah.
But very fit, very fast, and I've been working with him to train him up, and he is becoming quite the force. So
nice.
Yeah. And he's relatively new to all of this. He doesn't have training partners. So these are the first sort of fights with people that he has, other than like when he went out to the one tournament before, and that's kind of it.
Yep.
He doesn't have anybody else near him. So he's only just started coming out to us. And so this is his workout with people and sparring and having a chance to really understand some of the nuances and things that happen when you're beginning to work against other people. So
yeah,
he's going to make some waves. Keep an eye on it.
God, look out for that name.
I don't want to make it sound like it's easy, but there's definitely a way to flatten the learning curve in Saber more than some other martial arts. Like, it takes a long time to get really good at jiu-jitsu or to get so good at boxing that you're not really worried about getting knocked out by a lot of people. But in Saber, like, it is possible to flatten the learning curve because the styles are so varied. You can kind of find something that goes along with your sensibilities very easily.
Look how quick Brooks is. I just love that. Brooks is on the left, Chico's on the right, and
that's interesting. Okay. I kind of like that.
The hand shot there.
yeah.
What kind of blade does Chico have on his Saber?
a saber trap.
Oh, I see it lit back up there.
And it like goes right by. Versus if somebody
Oh, the heavy grade purple that that TCSS has. Yeah.
Chico, pro tip: 3 inches higher on your hilt there, buddy.
Yeah.
If I'm just doing this and I happen to,
Because he had some really good blade work there that could have been really great blade work.
yeah,
Hmm.
to me, again,
And he's learning so quickly.
Yeah, sponge it up.
Look at that. Look at that.
While you're young, fit, and fantastic, sponge all that information up you can.
specifically, I use this tool a lot. And to me, it's nice if I can use my gift.
And that stupid Roland commentary in the background. Jesus, why has he got such an annoying voice?
You can definitely tell there's an experience gap between these two. Not that either one of them is less skilled than the other necessarily, but you can tell there's an experience gap.
Good job, Brooks.
Brooks is much more patient and calm.
Not sure. He might have. Absolutely agree with.
Sort of like, I've seen this before, I've seen this before, I've seen this before, where
Brooks has
Chico's getting that experience right now.
Yep.
Brooks has a lot of tournament experience, not in like saber fighting. Like, he's
Okay.
not four-time national champion. Patience you're talking about.
Love Chico. Ryan versus Trip. This is good.
Trip is phenomenal. So Trip fenced since he was 6 years old. He went to college D1 for fencing, and he is a monster.
Yep.
Nice.
And he likes a long hilt, short blade. So it's faster.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot faster. Look at that, man.
Well, and you can use that pommel grip a lot better, like you just showed us,
Hmm.
because your balance is a lot closer to the hilt.
Yeah.
You know what? He has a lot more control over the opponent's blade now too.
Oh, definitely.
Yep.
Just a quick word on that. He never fought at here, so he doesn't know where our out of bounds are. So he's just trying to get a feel of the size of the ring.
I think
Right.
So he's used to the fencing pist. So you can close that distance so fast, and he's like, we're already in guard by the at our outside arm length. We're at fencing point because it takes me bang bang, and I'm already across there. So
Right.
So he's having to get used to that, and but yeah, he's just figuring that out. So that's a lot of this, but still, his blade work is so strong. He's got such a great control of his weapon and the opponent's weapon.
Hmm.
It's good fun. It's good fun.
So just for reference, Roland, where are the boundary lines? Is it within that
Those
inner
inside.
rectangle?
Yep, it's the inside rectangle. And everything else we told him. Everything else is lava.
Ryan,
much.
you're switching it up quite a bit, more than I'm
Yes.
used to seeing you do.
That's gonna pull out everything I can to try to win.
well, you have an opponent that has such a short blade and is already fast to begin with. Like,
And long, man. His lunges
Yeah.
are crisp. Yeah. You got a lot to contend with here. You can tell, though, Trip only wants to stay on 6 and 12. He doesn't want to move to 7 o'clock. He doesn't want to move to 5 o'clock. You know what I mean?
Right? Yep.
He'll learn. He'll get there. And then he'll really be deadly.
Because look at that. That's a classic Trip.
Yeah, this is a good match, boys.
Oh yeah.
Very interesting.
Ryan pushes him out.
Ryan's turning the bully on a little bit. I like it.
Yeah.
This is the first time we fight on the farm where he can like run back like 40 yards.
Yeah.
that ring seems big, but it's not. It's not that big once you start fighting.
Mm-mm.
No, it's not. Not at all. And you think about it, at least 6 feet of that is lightsaber blade usually.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta hold my ground against you.
See, he learned this so quickly. He just picked this up and bang. And so I mean, A, that's how good he is. And that's why we loved seeing him come out that night. Because Trip, he'd never been out here. So seeing this stuff, look at that.
Oh, pokey.
Yep. Good job, Ryan. But
Yeah, you played his game a little bit and you won. I liked it.
Ryan.
Very nice.
As fast as Trip is, it is a lot of the same basic movements though. He doesn't change it up that much, which can be good, but it also can be kind of bad because you're predictable at that point.
Right.
The problem is
You have to make sure everything is so unblockable.
Brings out a whole new set.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So who's fighting this one?
This is Brooks and me.
Okay.
And this is the first time I'd fought Brooks in a long time. And so it was just so good to see him back out again. And when he got the rust off of him, and you can kind of even see it in this fight, suddenly he starts doing some things. And I'm like, dude, this is so good to see because he's such a great competitor. It is just so awesome. So yeah, he mops the floor with me and I love it.
Dude, one thing about chilling with Saberlight Knights is nobody's ever like, yeah, this guy is okay. He's not that good. He kind of sucks. Like, everybody's always like, oh, I love this guy. He's such a good fighter. I just want to fight him all the time because he's so good.
Yep.
Everybody's always propping each other up. It's so cool.
Look at him move. Come on.
Is that your Nightwing shirt?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, that's the Saberlight Knights jersey with the Nightwing symbol in the back that Vince
yes.
did. And it's really pretty.
That's the one that you were wearing throughout the weekend, right?
Yep. So shout out to Vince because that is a gorgeous shirt.
Roland, your use of distance management is really, really intriguing in this fight. I'm picking apart your movements so like I love it. You're really kind of like almost like Ali with a jab, you know, kind of like using that tip to measure.
It's very graceful, but like it's very like on point. Like your targets are very like precise. You know?
Yes.
But it is a very, very graceful. It's fun watching you combat. It really is.
Very aggressive. I mean, once again, if you're extended Brooks back in that corner.
Brooks is a good fighter.
Brooks
I haven't seen him fight too much. He's a good fighter.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm shocked he's letting you push him into the corner, but there really isn't much pushing that he's doing back, and
he's fighting his way out. Yep.
Yeah.
Yo, look at that.
Both you guys stay in that pocket, and instead of like in and out, it's like stay in until somebody gets hit, you know?
And I was just throw it behind you, hope somebody hits something. Look at how he moved.
There it is.
What am I supposed to?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to hit that guy? Come on.
Well, now it looks like he's using your technique against you. And
yes, he is.
You don't know what to do at that point. You're like, he's dancing around now. I don't know what to do.
Owen's so happy. He's like, I've never seen anybody so happy to like lose and watch a fight and go, oh my God, look how good the other guy is. I love it, Roland.
Well, it would suck if I just am getting just slaughtered. So okay, but I'm giving him points. I'm hitting.
No, you guys are having a real.
But he's good, and so you got to give it to the guy that's good.
You guys, that was so much fun. That was such a fun fight. I was up against the wire. I love it.
Yeah.
Now
Christy.
This is interesting. So Christy versus Trip, and Christy gives Trip fits. just because she doesn't bite on his feints, and she just keeps the thing pointed like straight forward, and it drives him batshit crazy. So
Again,
Oh man, you gotta love a white
she's
belt.
new.
You
She
gotta
doesn't.
love a white belt.
Yeah, she doesn't. So he doesn't know what to do with the fact that she doesn't fence or
Right.
any of the rest of this. And so what she does with the blade is what she's learned from us. And so therefore she's coming at it from a completely different sort of just mindset. And so
Uh-huh.
what the heck am I doing with this wiggle blade?
You told her what to do.
Oh,
Oh man, he doesn't know what to do. Wow. It's
Yeah,
that
you-
unpredictable, man.
How do I windshield
very
wiper
much
this?
so.
Look at her.
Yeah, because he's
Pushing
waiting
him.
for her to like really like go in, thrust forward or something, and
I feel like he's also like maybe underestimating her a little bit. Maybe he doesn't realize he is, but it looks a little bit like he's underestimating her, and she's kind of like, okay, underestimate away.
Look, look.
she's switching hands.
Yes.
She ambidextrous.
Soldier.
Gosh,
Awesome.
if you give Christy what a good 6 months to a year, constant fighting, man, she's gonna be unstoppable.
Forget it. Yeah, she's just gonna trounce people.
Look at that.
Even if she got hit there, that was a 3-hit exchange before that.
Yep.
That's good.
Nice, son.
That's there.
How was his arm?
Okay.
Sparring beginners is stressful. Stressful as hell.
Yes.
I understand what Tripp is going through right now, but
Well, 'cause
it's
she's not-
stressful as hell.
She's not phased by like any of his like taps.
No.
Like, she's staying there.
She
So come
doesn't
on,
read
come
the
get me.
script. She doesn't give a shit about the script.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so unorthodox, and it's I love it. I love it.
Blade on your hands now. That's boring.
But she's a sponge, like we know.
Oh,
She just
wow.
runs. Yeah.
So good, so good.
Excellent.
That much to begin with before this point. Getting there.
See, now he's on the defensive. He doesn't know what to do now.
He scraped, it looked like. Oh, really?
And like as a sparring partner, if I was Tripp, this would be the moment where I go, okay, I can turn it up a little bit with her. You know, I can turn it up. I can try some different things. Maybe try and like at this point, I would be trying to win if I were him, just to like give myself a little bit of a, I don't know, maybe to
She's
like
moving
massage
back.
my own ego, but also like
That was a good
it's
one.
kind of a sign of respect to her.
Right before you came down.
It's kind of a sign of respect to her to just be like,
It was
you know,
light.
you're
It
at a
was
level now where I can open up some more techniques. I can try some more things that I think are higher level.
Yeah.
So if I were Tripp, I'd be trying to win just out of respect for both people, for myself and for her. And for her, she's clearly trying to win. Like there's no two ways about that.
Yeah.
I don't think she knows anything but trying to win.
Which is good.
Oh, that was good.
light.
Nice
I
aggression.
don't know.
See, had she pressed that one, yeah,
Did she get that point?
No, he caught it. He pushed it out. This was how it snapped it.
Oh, okay.
Let's go.
good. Boink. Love that.
So one thing right now is Tripp is not tired at all,
Mm-mm.
and Christy's starting to get a
I
little bit
was
fatigued.
Just thinking that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good
She's starting to
observation.
realize she's getting a little bit fatigued, which is just you know, she'll build up that endurance and
Yes.
control her breathing.
Yes, absolutely. Fighting is a different, like, it puts your brain in a different place, right? Your endorphins or whatever the chemistry terminology is, like, all that stuff starts firing, you know?
Mhm.
Your adrenaline and all that. It just, like, your senses are just on fire for that 3 minutes or whatever it is you're fighting for. And that tends to drain your physical energy just by the mental anxiety sometimes, you know.
Well, you're thinking about all the different calculations of where's my
There's
angle,
so
how's
much
that
to think
coming in,
about.
and
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a completely
So much to
different
think
thing.
about.
This
Definitely
one
mental
is so
fatigue.
much fun because it's Chico versus Ryan, and it's so much fun to watch these two go at it.
Oh, I
Look at
like
him.
the orange blade, Brian. I like that.
Bark.
Or is it yellow? Either way, looks good.
Mhm.
I like it.
Shows up nice.
Original key saver.
Is that the amber?
That is the old Persuader, the first one I ever got.
Oh yes, yeah. That's the amber, yeah.
I got Ryan. I got Ryan.
Still kicking.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yo, I hate to talk smack, but if that was an Ultra Saber, it'd be like 2 weeks and it'd be a paperweight.
I still got a couple Ultra Sabers.
My Ultra Sabers are still going. That's what I use in all these fights. Is my old school.
I have one
Meters.
old Ultra Saber that's still going. My other two, I didn't even get 2 weeks out of them. It's a shame. It's a shame. Now I got a Persuader and a Slayer. I don't need anything else.
Yep, true enough.
Except maybe this little thing.
Yeah, the new one
I've been
that-
hearing this little birdie
little-
talk about. But we won't get
Little
into it.
top secret underground.
It's not that top secret, but it's coming. It's on
A
its way.
stogie-sized surprise.
Yeah, just a little cigar.
Correct.
That Chico thrust.
If
man.
you don't change the name of it to the Key Stogie, I'm gonna be so disappointed.
The goal is to have people hide that in like their back pocket and whip it out during a fight and just stabs the person. Like you get really, really close to someone and just take them out.
Just shank them real quick.
Yep.
Prison sewing machine.
Oh my gosh. You're gonna give all the fans of the Rondell dagger something to talk about now. Let's not do that. That was a HEMA joke. Sorry, HEMA guys. I just joked at your expense.
HEMA guys can take it because they've been beaten up since the Middle Ages, so it's fine.
You okay?
He caught
Oh
it.
man.
You literally like hammer that thing down right on my picture.
Yeah,
For the record, I'm a big fan of European martial arts. Big fan.
You ever heard of hammer
Big toe.
Except the Rondell dagger.
Yes.
I think all of us are a big fan of all martial arts, especially
Yes,
in this
exactly.
position.
Yeah. There's really not a bad one.
Wow.
Except the Rondell dagger.
Oof. See,
See-
Vince is disagreeing with me. Go ahead.
It's funny because I've taught saber combat for a couple of years, and the one thing that I always say when you walk into a class or when you're hearing people sparring, you can hear that clash and like you're hitting too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We talked about this with judging too. Like when you hear versus see, sometimes it changes your perception of who got what point, or different targets have different, like I guess densities is the
That
best way to
dance.
describe it.
Yep.
Ryan, I like your breakdancing.
I
That's
love this.
good.
game.
That
This-
was fun.
This is the tango that I just love. See, Chico's doing it too.
Kung Fu fighting.
Chico, he has to do his spin attack.
I know. Vince literally called that spin before I
Ryan just
You guys should totally do
Very cool.
The Street Fighter poses before you guys start. choose your fighter.
Right. Okay. Yeah, this is me versus Trip. And again, you'll see how he just pushes my blade around all the time. He's got complete and total control of my weapon. And he's just so fast. And that's where years and years and years of experience with that one thing. Just it's
A specialist, a true
yep, he's a
specialist.
refined
He's
technique.
done those moves so many times that it feels natural to him, even if it's.
Yeah.
I try, to train in, do that, block that he does all the time. He does it so easy and fast. I can do it, but I can't do it like he does because I haven't done it 1,000. I haven't done it 10,000 times yet. So, I mean, it's just for him.
A common theme in MMA is that styles make matchups. And when you have specialists, like it used to be, that's how they advertised the fight, was wrestler versus karate guy, jiu-jitsu man versus kung fu master, and that's the way they would market those fights. But it is true, like when you get a really elite technician in a particular category versus a different category technician, like that's where you really start to see how somebody can use something that's very specific for unspecific situations or spontaneous situations. You could be the greatest wrestler and dominate other wrestlers because you got so good at that one thing. Then you go up against a striker and you win against that striker with your wrestling. That means you've used that wrestling in a way previously unavailable to most people.
There he goes again. So
You know what he's doing? He's baiting you with the tip of his blade for you to strike the saber, not strike him. Because that's what you're aiming towards getting. And
I would bite on that all day, Roland.
I was trying for here. I was trying for either inside or outside arm.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't get past that. So I was like, all right, well, what am I going to do if I can't get into chest head ranged?
See, it's tough because if you had that speed to compensate for what he's giving you, when he strikes, he's just a little bit open, and you can, you could finagle it.
Yep. I needed to find better angles.
Yeah.
And that was so pretty. Look, see, that's what he did, and that's so good.
That was a good one, though.
Yeah, I would be eating that bait right up. I love some blade manipulation, and I would probably be getting my blade worked on right now. I would be trying so hard to smack his out of the way, and he'd be evading and smacking me all over the place.
It's honestly tough not to, because I mean, the one thing that I feel like is not really spoken about as much is you're dealing with a lightsaber versus a lightsaber. So inevitably, you're always focused on the brightness of that blade and where that blade is. Like,
that is a good point.
That's what he was discussing very much. He goes talking about being blade focused. He goes, foil fencers or epee fencers and all the rest of this, when you're fighting, you really are focused. Even if it's black, the little aluminum stick that you're fighting with, you're really focused on that thing coming at you, whatever the heck.
Yeah.
Now when you light it up so that that's all that it is, especially in our wonderful twilight, like this, that's all you see is this freaking blade that's lit up. Everything is drawn and focused, tunnel vision down to that blade, where the heck it is.
Yeah.
So,
Which is kind of opposite what you train most people to do with their eyes in martial arts. You don't train them to, if a punch is coming, you don't look at the punch, hopefully.
Yes, exactly.
You're looking at their chest, you're looking at their neck, or maybe their
hips,
eyes once in a while, the hips, right? And when you start looking at the punch or the kick or the takedown itself, then that's when you run into trouble.
Yeah.
Well, because that's when you don't see the second move that's coming right at you.
Exactly. Or you don't see that it's a fake and they're really going for a takedown or whatever the case is. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really good. This is good. This is Brooks versus Vince. And again, you want to talk about style versus style? This is classical historical fencing versus freaking Matrix Vince, who's again, short.
That's a good way to describe
Gumby.
Vince fighting.
Yeah, he's short, flexible Gumby, and it's just awesome.
Scrappy.
And Vince is pretty young too, right?
Oh, yeah,
20s,
yeah.
mid-20s. Yeah.
Yep. Young, fast, flexible. I hate his guts. He's good looking. He's talented. Look at the shirts that he made. I hate him.
I am so sorry.
All the girls want to be with him. All the boys want to be.
Gonna beat him.
I can already see that Mike's gonna have a hard time getting inside to get a point in.
And Brooks is just. But Vince just. Okay.
Yeah. Well, because Vince
Once
relies
again,
a lot on his reach
standing his ground too against the bigger, stronger competitor, more experienced competitor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Say that again, Ryan.
You heard me.
Look.
I'll do it again.
Ooh.
4-4, Mike. Mine's just Steven, that's what I'm sorry. So 4-4, Mike.
So, do you guys have any?
5-4, Mike.
Obviously, like Tripp is a fencing guy, but do you guys have any form specialists right now? Ryan, I know you're sort of a Form 5 specialist, but do you guys have some true specialists right now?
I would not come for. I would say definitely a Form 2. I would count myself as a Form 5.
Mm-hmm.
Rolling is pretty much, but nobody that would really closely Aru, but gonna take a step back.
Uh-huh.
I just saw it wrong, that's all.
You have a bunch of people like Sport.
7-7, Mike.
No events.
Yeah.
More like 6 to me.
Look at that.
You alright? Held it.
Oh.
7, Mike.
See, he just. Brooks dances. It's just.
8, Mike.
That
Oh.
he gets down pretty low on that ducking strike. I don't know if I could get down that low and get up so quickly.
I've actually shoot Vince out on that goal to like stab it.
Uh-huh.
Like when you duck down so you're 6 feet tall, you only do that when you down.
Nice.
Oh. That last point went to Vince, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was an excellent patient hit.
Yep.
Very
Again,
nice.
Ryan versus Tripp.
One more Ryan trip.
Buckle up for the Ryan trip.
Yep. Mhm.
Oh, nice. Did you give him the old Obi-Wan treatment?
Yep.
Love it. Nothing like a Kenobi arm butchery.
Yes. Swing and a miss.
There goes Ryan playing the opponent's game again and then switching the game up at the last second. I love it. Beautiful footwork there, Ryan. Beautiful footwork. Baited him with the 6 o'clock, moved off to 7, moved off to 5, chippy choppy. Never going to stop me.
Good one. Ryan, fight.
Oh, nice hit.
Ballet dancer.
You could tell the level of competition went up between these two guys, right? Like,
Yep.
this is not like a friendly match. It might be friendly, but that's not why they're doing it.
It's just we're both very good.
Definitely stakes involved.
Yeah. He asked if there was money on the table.
I am going to put money down on shit.
Oh, we're fighting for honor. Okay.
Oh, nice advance.
Look at that.
Oh, good defense on the retreat. Oh man.
Took-
Damn it, fencers.
I know.
Those are demoralizing. You feel so good about a hit you get on one of these guys, and then they do that, and you just feel like, why do I waste my time? Whenever I fight Nick Richardson, that's the way it goes. It's like I feel so good about this or that, and then he just spooks me, and I'm so ticked. I know he's toying with me.
See
Oh,
that-
nice.
Just so good.
His lunges are really long. He's really launching himself. That's a good thing in this case because he's controlling it. He's not just lunging with nothing, no backup
Yeah.
plan.
He's very stable.
That's something Nick has talked about too in his Makashi
There you go.
footwork exercises and stuff. He's like, when you advance, you can't just like go out there and overextend yourself with no backup plan. Like you got to have your next step already launching. You can see that with Tripp. He's like, both of you guys, you launch an attack and you commit to the attack. You don't like if it doesn't work the first time, you've got the next thing already coming.
Mhm.
That's how you win fights. Oh, nice.
Make him think. Yeah, make him think.
Ryan, I'm surprised to see you in a two-handed grip in this situation. It's working for you very well, but most of your I would expect you to try and get a little more range against this longer, fast dude, but it's working for you.
But he's a better one-handed fighter than me, so I gotta switch. it
Yeah.
up.
Because
That's
of
a
that
fair
shorter
point.
blade, he has such amount of power that he can thrust down.
Yeah,
So you kind of have to go two-handed.
that's a good point. I didn't even think about that aspect of it, but yeah, that's an excellent.
Wait till you feel the blade.
At least 6 fights in that, where literally I predicted where the hand was gonna go, two-handed. I just cut the angle and met him there before he.
Right.
And that's what I.
And you
had
have a
to
little
do
more
because-
control to do that with two hands because you can use the pommel action.
Right. And don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
I prefer to fight one-handed at all times. I would
Okay.
fight one-handed.
Okay.
However, there's times when, and I do it frequently, where I'll switch between the two constantly because it throws people off, especially with somebody like Tripp, who, quite frankly, I think is a better fighter than I am. You just have to outsmart as much as possible, and he's a smart guy, so it's really difficult.
That's really
So,
difficult.
In that case, it was
Yeah.
just literally where's his hand going to go, and predicting that and locking into that.
Mhm.
And like I say, wait till you fight him. When you feel that blade and the blade control that he has, you suddenly understand, okay. And you'll notice that when I fought him, I fairly quickly went to two hands, or I stayed sort of that way because it was like, oh crap, I've really got to move his blade in order to be able to do it. Because again, he's a solid foundation of technique that's come from years of experience. And he just is so precise and knows what he wants from where he's going to go.
Right.
So he knows his
Right.
attacks.
And
Right.
with that short blade that he's using, my two-hand is probably about the same range as his one-hand because his blade is so much shorter.
Right.
Take that
And
in.
you're having to contend with his heavier mass and all of that. So that extra hand helps you with that stability and the control. That's cool. I like the way you guys broke that down for me.
No,
I love that.
we because trust me, the and that's again this is where these mental sparring comes in, is
Right,
the
of
analysis after the
course.
fact. We're like, okay, what is
Mhm.
this? Why is he this? Why did you cut left there? Didn't you see this opening on this side? No, I didn't see it because I
Right.
was stuck in my tunnel vision here. But yes, now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I totally should have gone for that
Right.
subtle maneuver around or something like that. And that's why this is the dialogue. And again, they always quote about, fencing is a conversation in steel. This is our conversation that we're having. This is our dialogue
Right.
with each other as, like, honestly, this is my introduction. This is our first conversation Trip and I
Right,
having this
right,
dialogue back and forth as we're going back and forth.
Mhm.
So I'm learning his language, he's learning our language. And now it's like, okay, now I'm opening up my vocabulary to something else that he's bringing
Mhm.
to the table. So I'm going to start having little Trip accents in how I fight now and how I have to deal with that. And so,
Right.
okay, suddenly my slang terms have changed. So my vocabulary is different. So because I fight this way now. And then
Well-
as we're going over it, oh, you're right. I could have done this. Or, oh no, see,
Right.
because of this, I can't do that. So yeah.
Well, if you go back to the Invitational last October, I wouldn't have beat Chris if it wasn't for Trip, because Trip and I have been training. I started to pick up some of these, specifically the hanging guard, which rocked Chris's world. But he had me down by 5 points in the final match of the finals, and I came back on it literally using 100% what Trip taught me.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
Well,
Trip
it's an
is-
exchange, right? The longer he fights with you guys, some of that stuff, like we were talking about the 6 and 12, like he's going to start adding those little clockwork motions, and maybe once in a while he'll throw a second hand on the hilt and like add a little Shicho flavor to his action there. And it's gonna, man, that's why I do this stuff, because
Yeah.
this medium is so easy to get like an education from. You know what I mean? Like this is maybe the best martial art to get an education from. If you're doing unarmed, obviously like MMA, the idea of it is mixing up a whole bunch of stuff that works. This is the same idea. It's like you there's so much to learn. It's impossible to learn it all, and that's why you want to learn it all.
Well, I mean, because we touched about it even earlier tonight. Those of us with a HEMA background, those of us who have come from Asian, whether it's katana
Mhm.
or kendo or aido or some of the other
Stick
things,
fighting or
stick
right.
fighting, Filipino martial arts, and the cutting the angles and blah blah blah. Even dagger work, you know, and some of the other things. Vince with his dagger here, you know, that he fought with,
Right.
you know. So all of these things, there's how many centuries of fighting collectively
Oh my
with
gosh,
swords
yeah.
that we're scraping the surface of, and all are valid because
Right.
it's still simply a blade in the hand of a man that can only do so many different things. And so
Mhm.
reducing down and simplifying, that's one of the reasons why I like Filipino martial arts, because it reduces down. I only have so many angles of attack,
Right.
because I only have, my body only works so many different ways. But
Right.
because of how you can move that same blade in so many different vast variables, that science suddenly becomes the fluid art. And that's where we just
Yes.
explode. And I love it. And when Trip gets a hold of, oh, putting two hands on, moving the pommel, controlling where, and maybe even, you know, pool cueing it, doing all kinds of other fun things.
Right.
Wait till
Right.
he explodes with suddenly this, from a guy that used to only do this, now he's got this entire other repertoire. Dangerous fighter.
Well,
It's funny you just said the pool cue thing, because Andy, who you guys met last year or 2 years ago, he's not a martial artist, and I say this all the time. He's just learned some saber martial arts from and with me, just from fighting me. We've been fighting for like 20 years, and he doesn't, like, he's very athletic. He does things well, but he, like I said, he just doesn't have any martial arts knowledge. Well, when we fight though, he does things like he's pretty good at pool. So he does this thing where he sets up in like a Sarasu guard, and then he just runs you through like it's a pool cue all the way through. Like, and he gets like 8 feet of extension because he's already tall, and he uses his whole arm, you know, like he's breaking the I don't know how to play pool very well. So breaking the
I'll take him for a game.
Yeah. Brian's competitive nature comes out.
Yeah, he'd love that. Anyway, it's just those little things, like if you're good at riding a bike, like let's say you've been mountain biking forever, like your cardio is going to be through the roof. That's a skill you can't teach everybody, you know. It's not even a skill, it's an attribute. It's like that's something that you have that other people don't, or not every other person has, is a better way to say that. Maybe some people will run, you'll run against people who have a better gas tank than you. then you're in a fight, and how cool is that now, right? All right, shut up, Mark, shut up, we're done.
You know what the great thing, honestly, about this sport and what you guys are talking about with the different martial arts, even just, fighting with like a billiard form, I guess you can call it, is,
Right.
Right.
you
Billiard
have,
foo.
yeah, billiard foo. You have a weapon that has never been, realistically, it's never been featured in traditional martial arts before, because you can't really quite compare it to really anything because of the 360-degree cutting edge that it has, because of the lightweight, weapon that you have, as opposed to, a traditional katana or a longsword.
Right.
There's so much blade manipulation that can be done that isn't written down, that is all you guys developing on your own, realistically.
Right.
Taking what you already know, the different various martial arts, and making it your own. So there's nothing really written down. There's nothing really like scheduled. There's no real like classes or real teaching, because my version of Shicho is totally different from your version of Shicho. But it's all still the basis of a practical move. When you move into Sarisu, it's all still based off of defense. You move into Makashi. So there's still that basic level of understanding, and a lot of ways you guys have this respect that you give each other when you guys combat, which is just from watching this stuff, it is like, sometimes I don't really have to say much, because like the fights speak for themselves. They're beautiful, the exchanges that you guys do back and forth, so that's something to be really, really proud of. And as you guys build and grow up your team, your group to more and more members, people are going to look at this and be like, geez, I have such a wealth of knowledge. How am I going to learn everything? I got to fight this guy, I got to fight that guy, I got to fight that guy, just to really have those exchanges and just to learn something new. But it's great. It's great that you guys have that.
See, and for us, I mean, I love the fact that, again, this is, like I said, this is my first conversation in steel with Trip,
right? And
so I have a new way of talking that I didn't have before, and so this is a new friend, and this is a new way of thinking about how to move and how to change what I do. And every single time, and that's why every single member of our group is bringing something completely different. This stew that we're making is going to be flavored with some awesome stuff, and I'm just going to sit here and make the onions and cut them up and make everybody cry. But I mean, that's the thing, is what we're bringing is the ability to blend these things. And it's like, this is Saberlight Night Stew, which is different than the Smaf Stew, which is different than, so and when we all come together, what a great recipe, because we're bringing different things together. But look at the way that how we respect each other and how we respect the blade, and then look at the way we're able to go, oh, did you see how he fought? Look at that. I love that, because to me, I think that the way that you fight, and when I'm fighting you, I'm really interested in what you have to say and how you move, and why does your shoulder drop when you do that? And those quirks, that might be a feint, that might be something else that you're doing very specifically to draw me in. Is it a poker thing, or is it really the way, what are you doing? So that to me is why I love this, because that's the thing that reveals more about a person's character than, oh, I'm just going to tell you my name is Roland and I do this and blah blah blah. No. Let's clash some blades, and let's see how you are and how you handle a little bit of pressure, pushback, that dialogue. What is that reveals some really good, wonderful characteristics. And you see, like watch Vince, you see his sense of humor, or Brooks too, the way he moves, and it just, you see him, and it's like, that's what I love.
Well, based on what you're saying, like I have, set combos that I'll do that have high percentage rates of hits, and like I literally name them by the fighter I got them from. So, I've got like I've got a Ryan, I've got a Clayton, I've got Chico, I've got like a whole bunch of things, because everybody has a signature thing that they bring to the table. And if you watch them and learn it, I then add it to mine and go from there. But that's literally how I think about it. It's like, okay, I'm gonna break off a Reuben here.
Mhm, mhm.
When
Yeah,
people
it's
say
great.
like, "Oh, I don't do the 7 forms," you're kind of doing them without trying. Like,
Mhm.
if you're doing saber combat this way, where you're mixing the things that people know and helping each other learn new things all the time, then like you are doing the 7 forms, because all they are is explaining what you were already doing in combat language. You know, like, this is about this type of aspect of this type of fighting style, or this is about this type of, but really it's like you said, like, my sheet show is completely different than yours. How could I be doing the 7 forms if there's like 70, 100,000 million versions of one form? Well, because that like the concept is the same, right? Like
Yep.
the
Fundamentals are
idea
the
that's
same.
behind it,
Mhm.
determination or contention or blah 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 blah, right? Like, anybody who fights with a determined style, you know, they
Yeah.
they don't have to use the same movements or be the same body type or anything like that. What they're doing is practicing a common language, you
Yeah, it's
know,
an overarching
with
principle.
idioms and things.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's a principle. This is these motions. When you're an aggressive fighter, this is what we mean by an aggressive fighter. If you're a
Right,
defensive
right.
fighter, you're a defensive fighter because you're doing this. If you're a reactive fighter, okay,
Right.
you're a counterpuncher. Okay, so, and it's those broad generalizations which give us, okay, today when I'm fighting Ryan, I'm not working my aggressive fight, I'm working my defensive fight. Maybe I'm
Right,
working my
exactly.
counterpunch. But then because of the change that Ryan's doing in his fight, because of what I'm giving him, now I suddenly need to change from my Shicho to my Makashi. Now I need to change
right.
to the aggressive fighter because he's doing
Right.
something different. So what am I going to do in response? Because again, that fluidity of the conversation, the
Right.
dialogue and steel, it's what makes this so unique. And again, that representation, it reveals character, and that's why it's just so much
Yeah.
fun.
It's all form 6, right? At the end of the day, it's all form 6. and I think honestly, like, it's just a way to explain kind of to yourself what type of fighter you're becoming or what type of fighter you're against, you know. And it's a good way to like pick a goal for yourself. Like you said, Roland, like, oh, I'm generally pretty good at counterpunching or evasion, but like, I need to work on my aggression. So now I'll go to somebody who's good at quote unquote form 4, you know, or form 5, because I know that they are an aggressive fighter. But that's just the form that we use to describe that style of fighting in this case, right? So anyway, I think sometimes it gets a lot like real heady for people, and some people don't like to acknowledge like that they're really kind of doing the lightsaber forms just by practicing with a lightsaber at all, you know. But it's really just a basic conceptualization of each fighting style.
Right. And at the end of the day, we're just a bunch of kids.
We're just nerds.
We're just nerds. Yeah.
We're just nerds.
We're just hitting our friends.
Sweaty
you know,
nerds.
Old, fat, you know, whatever. We're just a bunch of kids having fun, hitting each other with sticks.
But
That's
for the
it.
record, we've all had multiple dates in our lives that were successful.
Very good. My conquests are amazing.
Oh man, I got 2 little munchkins to prove that I can get a date.
Well, it's not just getting a date; it's keeping a date.
Oh, there's an objective.
That's the difficult part.
Who doesn't care that you're a nerd, I guess, right?
Exactly right.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's the thing that one thing that we at Saberlight Knights have sort of been wanting to sort of just make sure that we're keeping in mind is, at the end of the day, are you having fun? Because a lot of times we'll come in and the stress of the week and all the rest of this, and then you got to do something stressful again. That doesn't make any sense. Come out, have fun, stab the crap out of me. We're good with that. And then go home because you've really, it's great. You feel much better. You've relaxed. You had fun with your friends.
Yeah.
that's what this is the stress relief. It's a release valve that just,
It totally is.
yeah.
Well, you guys are
hear-
combining workout with fun, with excitement, with nerd, and you know, like it's what I have seen from like watching you guys fight, and especially as people look happier, even just within the fights
Mhm.
alone, they look happier walking out of the ring than they did when they came in. You know,
That's what you want.
and that's that value, that's that respect. Because, and I always felt that there are two ways that you can really get to meet someone and get to really have a conversation. And one is if you break bread with them, the other is if you fight them.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
you guys do both of that because afterwards you guys always break bread with each other and
Yeah,
eat.
yeah.
So it's always
Yeah,
a good
right.
sign.
Yep, definitely. And
Where's
third
Alan?
is,
Hashtag Saber Valhalla, right?
yeah, definitely. And third, by the way, is, are you talking about nerd stuff, whether it's comic books or Star Wars?
Yes.
Oh yeah, of
If you
course.
start talking about that, then okay,
You
well, who's your
gotta
favorite
keep the-
superhero? Blah blah blah. Then,
That's
you know, okay.
right.
Yeah, so yeah,
That's
but
right.
that's how you figure out who somebody is. Is like, I fought you, we've eaten together, and now are you DC or Marvel? You know, okay. Then you might fight
You know,
again.
When I spar every Wednesday, and we do like some drilling and stuff on Mondays. And one thing I've kind of like subconsciously started doing is not talking about fighting with the people I'm about to spar with. Like the pre-sparring conversation is usually about stuff completely unrelated to combat. Maybe martial arts stuff, but not like combat. Like I'm not talking about like, oh, my sidekick this, or like when I shoot in and I'm no. When I talk to people before we spar, we're always talking about dumb stuff. We're always talking about like, oh, you know, my kid fell down the very last stair today and fell on her tailbone and giggled. Like that's the kind of story, you know, like, or I had a cheeseburger earlier, it was so bomb,
Oh,
you know, or like I was
Just
working on my
recently-
jab crosses and, you know, I hit the bag a little too hard. My pinky's a little bit sore. Like it has nothing to do with actually fighting. You know what I mean? If I dabble into, and the reason is because I don't know what kind of a night I'm going to have. Like the last thing I
That's
want to
true.
do is like talk about something and get everybody into their own heads about some shit.
right,
Sorry,
right.
about
No,
some
no.
stuff.
But it's just
I,
funny 'cause you brought that up because it's like Chico, by the way, in those fights, Chico has just come off of our sort of trials. And so he was worn out, plus the fact that he had just had
yes, that's
pasta.
exactly
and
what I'm talking
he
about.
was he never eats pasta. So by the way, that was sluggish, heavy Chico fighting those
Right,
fights,
right.
which scares me even more because, dude, he's a beast.
No, to me, it's like you don't want to add stress to that situation. You want to like,
Yeah.
and Kyle, you said breaking bread and fighting the person. That's why I don't talk about fighting before fighting. Maybe after we spar,
Right.
we can talk about all the stuff.
Right,
All the stuff.
But you
You
get to
know?
know someone whenever you're fighting them. You know, there's no point
That's
in having
exactly
there's no point in having a conversation about martial arts before you spar with someone. Just spar
it.
with
Before
them.
you martially art.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
exactly.
fun. Just spar with them.
You go paint together first,
Yeah. And
then
that's
talk
the
about
art.
the picture.
And that's
Yep.
the
Yeah.
art side of the martial. You're fighting, but it's very fluid. You can't science that
Yeah.
in. That's art. You've got to.
I noticed with the tournament, a
Yeah.
lot of tournament schools or groups or clubs or whatever, people who are like constantly competing in tournaments, that's not a bad thing by any means. But I
Cobra
noticed
Kai.
that like they're the people who talk about fighting before they go fight people.
They're very Cobra Kai.
You know? Yeah,
Well-
yeah.
Well, because that's
Exactly.
that's all that they know. You know, that's
exactly right.
that's their passion. That's all that they care about, and that's what they see valuable. Which it isn't
Sure.
a bad thing. It's just what you see valuable.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I find that it's more fun to have fun
Mhm.
while I'm getting whacked by people, I guess.
Right. Exactly. And that's why we do this. And that's why we do these fight nights, because we've been going on for probably way too long.
Well.
And just rolling blabbering. But thank you guys very much. We really appreciate
Thank you
both
for
of you
the
showing
invite.
up.
Yes,
And,
thank you very much. This is so much fun.
And just
Always
going back
fun.
and watching these.
Good to
is
see
just so
all of
good.
you boys.
Yeah, yep, definitely. Thank you guys. And look out for Kai Sabers, look out for Smath, support Mando Core, and come out and fight with those Saberlight Night dorks. Because I tell you, those guys, they need a good beating.
Go hit nerds.
Yep,
Go
amen.
hit nerds.
Go hit
With your
nerds.
friends.